Hsu Hao, the man who, according to a lot, even the Mortal Kombat developers, may be the worst character in Mortal Kombat history. And today I am going to be tasked with trying to give him a brand new redesign. This is going to be interesting considering that 9 times out of 10 Hsu Hao will never see the light of day in another Mortal Kombat game again. But here we go. Okay, so I got asked to do a redesign for Hsu Hao for like almost a Mortal Kombat 1 design, but in this case I'm just gonna redesign him from scratch anyways, simply because I don't know, like Hsu Hao just needs a complete redesign in general. Well, not entirely, I can't say that's 100% correct. Hsu Hao's alternate design I still feel like was a pretty cool one, even if it is a gigantic Kano ripoff. Just instead of having the little thing over his eye, he has the artificial heart instead, which for some reason Kano has ripped off as a part of his character. The irony that Hsu Hao was kind of a Kano looking ripoff and now Kano has actually ripped off a piece of his design is hilarious to me. But most people have never even paid attention to or seen Hsu Hao's alternate costume. But they've seen that garbage normal one though. It's so bad. He just looks clunky. There's an off green in the design. That hat looks silly. Just a lot of odd design choices with Hsu Hao. But I shouldn't say anything because I have to do a redesign of this man and I don't know how I'm going to have to pull that off. This man is easily the worst member of the Red Dragon clan and my goal is to try to make him fit. So let's see what I can come up with for Hsu Hao of all people.
Test your might.
Alright, so being honest, in the very beginning, I had to figure out how I was going to sort of disregard his initial costume. Almost in my mind, this is like an alternate to his alternate. Because like I've said before, I don't think his second costume is really that bad if we could just disregard the initial one. So that was my primary focus in doing his design from the start after having him initially posed in. The other thought that I had was I wanted him to look more like a member of the Black Dragon clan. One issue I do have with that clan in Mortal Kombat in general, considering how important Dagon is to all of Mortal Kombat, at least his story, is that the actual Red Dragon clan don't look like they fit together. The Black Dragon kind of has this too with people like Cobra being in, but like for the most part, you take out Cobra, Jarrett, Kano, Cabal, Kira, they all somewhat kind of sort of fit, but Hsu Hao in no way, shape, or form fits with Dagon, and he barely fits with Movado as it is. So I'm also gonna make his design look a little more Black Dragonish. I also want to try to get the logo in somewhere too. So I gave him a double belt. I don't know why I gave him a double belt loop, and I gave him shields almost on the sides of his pants. He has a bunch of just random armor pieces. I shouldn't say random, they're there for a reason, but like I gave him a lot more armor pieces, at least like a band on one of his arms and then like a shoulder piece on the other. Once again, another asymmetrical design on my part, but I gave him those. Also, I don't know why I made the weird design on his heart piece. Almost looks like something should be corrupted or infected with his heart the way that I did it, but I don't know. Something to just make it semi like unique or different in some way, shape, form, or fashion. At least to where it doesn't just read Kano. I also gave him boot plates and whatnot too. Unlike other designs, I could already tell ahead of time that I was going to leave most of the armor on his outfit dark. Like I wanted it to be black in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or a really dark color. I didn't want a lot of silver in this design like I do with most redesigns that I do for Mortal Kombat. And then as I've said before, I gave him a Black Dragon sash in the front. So after getting that done and going back over top of that with the line art, it was on to coloring this man, which was where my problems started for this design. Before continuing forward, I'd just like to let everybody know if you like the design so far or want to see more of my Mortal Kombat redesigns and content or other fighting games for that matter, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Now getting to the coloring. So like I said, I knew his color scheme was going to be black and red. One problem I did have with his initial design in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance was, I get that his character had infiltrated the Special Forces, but he looks more like a Special Forces character to me than a Black Dragon one. Like, he just looks like a bunch of things that aren't good in that initial design. But I tried playing with different colors for the actual chest plate. Didn't work. I tried playing with different colors for almost like the side gear and the accessories. Didn't work. I knew what kind of color scheme I wanted. I just didn't know how I was going to place those colors. So I ended up playing with a lot of different designs and looks. I gave him almost a stripe design on the insides and outsides of his pants, like a red design. I eventually made that slightly darker to differentiate between the two reds some. And then I made the plates on his boots as well as the knee pads like a slightly lighter black or like an extremely dark gray. And then went back and added sort of the design that's on his shoulder pads in the Deadly Alliance outfit. I can't believe I even borrowed anything from that design, but that's something that actually is kind of cool and unique about his design in the game. So I ripped that off. I borrowed that for his shield plates and the shield that he has on his arm. And I also went ahead and did that design on his gloves as well, even though it's kind of faint there and you're going to lose it once I start doing shadows and highlights. Didn't think of that ahead of time, but whatever. So after doing the coloring, it was on to getting the shadows and highlights done. Doing the shadows, and I didn't address this earlier, but I can't think off the top of my head of another Mortal Kombat character with a crazy like 70s mustache. I thought it would just be funny for me personally to give one to Hsu Hao. Plus, his mustache looked very, very creepy in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance just because it's faint for some reason to me. But the chin strap is prominent. So, or not the chin strap, the soul patch that he has in his facial hair is prominent. Very weird. I don't know why he looks the way he does in that game. I can't stop saying that enough. But anyway, so I shaded around the mustache essentially. The rest of his shadows were kind of simple. As usual, I did his shadows coming from the right side of the picture. Because of how he's posed, that's pretty simplistic here. The challenge was sort of shading his armor plate because I didn't know how I was going to do that. Or at least do it in a way to make it look like it's some unique material, or it's like a sort of like a fiberglass plate or something crazy, but it's got like some type of glowing or something in the center. So played around with that a little bit. I think I eventually pulled it off, but in the beginning it looked very weird. So then I shaded the shoulder piece on him, and then I shaded the inside of his gloves and whatnot, just pretty much cleaning in where I needed to get the shading in on the rest of the design. It wasn't really that bad doing the details in the shoulder pieces as well as like inside the pants where the guards on the sides of his pants, and then like shading inside his pants where the guards lay on them, and then doing the plates on his boots. Not going too overboard on his boots either because I didn't want those to start looking crazy. They would have if I would have overly shaded those as well. And doing the black dragon sash that I gave him. And then from there, it was the highlights. This was another one of those rare designs where I was actually more intricate with the highlights than the shadows. I think it's just because he's already have a pretty dark or black design, so I needed more highlights to make things pop. That, and I have a lot of different looking materials, so he's gonna need more highlights in different spots. So I ended up having to make 3 passes with highlights. The first one was with a light color that I just needed to tone down. It came across as like a lighter gray on a lot of like the black and gray pieces of his clothes. It came across on the sash very well, if I do say so myself, at least in how I was trying to work it. Then after getting the initial highlights done there, it was redoing it with a slightly brighter white. A brighter white, that makes no sense, but like a whiter sort of tone to it, filling in the inside of the chest piece, which is starting to look a little more metallic at this point, or like it's got a shine to it. It almost looks glassy and sort of, I don't know what the hell I'm going for because I don't know what type of plate that is, but that reflective look that I'm kind of going for, it's there in the actual heart plate. Another thing that I didn't think about when choosing the Hsu Hao design. And then after getting the rest of those light details done, it was going back and doing the specular highlights, which I also didn't overdo because then he was just going to look sort of overly shiny for whatever reason. So I didn't go too crazy with that, but I just hit those in certain places. And after finishing those off, I had this brand new Hsu Hao. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm gonna let you be the judge as to what this looks like. Being honest, I don't even know what to think about this design because it's Hsu Hao. He's become like sort of a meme of a Mortal Kombat character. I don't think it looks bad, but like, it's Hsu Hao. Like, what am I supposed to think here? Part of the reason why I even chose this design is because I took it as a challenge. How do I keep the integrity of whatever the hell Hsu Hao's character is supposed to be while making him look cooler, if that is even possible? I'd like to think that I took a really good crack at it, so let me know what you think in the comments below. And please let me know what you think of Hsu Hao as a character. I'm really curious at that. Also, as I said before, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And you all have a good one. And I'm out.